I think it's gonna get better in my head. Because I just play for my children and Ali, the only baby people that die in my head. They my children and get so far to be my head. I can't be happy. But say I get this out. Anything I live will go up. Now go say that one I will not get it. Now go give me the one. I said waiting for him. I say play for him for give me chance and they want I live or they want.
Coming up.
He said we can come.
A secret ritual, a hidden danger. Is there any way to stop this virus? The answer may surprise you. Ebola inside the deadly outbreak.
I never thought I'd be in pursuit of death.
We're chasing one of the burial teams that's been put in place to properly dispose of people who die from Ebola.
But in Monrovia, Liberia, Ebola is spreading uncontrollably.
One of the main ways Ebola is spreading in West Africa is through burial practices, the ritual cleaning, the other things that are done around burial. If they can't change that, the feeling is there's no way to control Ebola in West Africa.
Officials are on the hunt to find these bodies, test, and burn them before more people get sick. At JFK Hospital, the dead are taken out through the back door.
We can come to this side. Yes? We're beckoned in by part of the burial team. He said we can come. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. How many bodies are there? Nine. Nine? They've already collected 9 people who've died from Ebola. How many more will there be today? More. 5 more. 5 more to be collected. Oh my God. It's the first time here in Liberia that I've really been scared. This is incredible. You know, seeing a truck cart away 10 bodies of people who died from Ebola, it's the gates of hell going into that treatment ward and knowing that the odds are you're going to come out in a body bag.
The scenes here in Liberia are grim reminders of what can happen when a virus breaks into the human population. We are all social creatures, care for our sick, wash and bury our dead. And that is, in the end, what makes human beings so vulnerable to Ebola. It's why one of the biggest problems here in Monrovia are burials. Bodies may be covered with viral particles that can infect any who touch them. Funerals are a common source of Ebola's spread. ABC News producer Carrie L. Doe was with a burial team as they attempted to recover a body from a grieving family who doesn't want to part with it.
Why do you want to bury the body today?
Because the man is a Muslim man. So we won't bury the body today. Won't do always a burial, won't bury the man today. Even so the people can go out to bury the body in our place, it's not anything. But won't bury the man today.
But what if he does have it? What if he did have Ebola?
The man not have Ebola.
The bodies are packed up, never to be seen again. This is where they end up, a pile of ashes, beside the next bodies ready to be burned. Sometimes the bodies are taken before they're even tested. It leads to mass denial that loved ones ever had the disease. Families so desperate to bury their own that we catch a secret one about to take place to avoid the government carting the body away.
Where were you all taking the body?
The boys were caught by vigilant neighbors, disgusted that they might spread the disease in the neighborhood, and unforgivable crime.
That thing is very, very terrible. For you sitting in the car without body, it's terrible. They brought all the Ebola for us out. They put in the community straight away, y'all.
Precisely what these body collectors are trying to avoid.
We're following this blue truck. It's got the head of the burial team. He got word that in one house in this village, 5 people died from Ebola.
It's a race against time. Every second those bodies linger, the greater the chance of someone else getting infected.
The community here says that the 2 people in this house did not die from Ebola, so they're not letting the burial team in. To Elwa. How many bodies are at Elwa?
Elwa, we got
8 there.
Yes.
The burial team is pulling out. They're going to the next hospital where there are many bodies, many people who have died from Ebola.
A grim task with no end in sight. No shortage of bodies. When we come back, can the virus come to our shores?
It is a fire. It is a fire straight from the pit of hell. We cannot fool ourselves in thinking that the vast moat of the Atlantic Ocean will protect us from the flames of this fire.
An impassioned warning from a man who knows Ebola's wrath all too well. American doctor Kent Brantley knows he's lucky. The medicine he took is not a definitive cure for Ebola. Others who were treated with it have died. And as the U.S. puts boots on the ground in West Africa, cases there double every 3 weeks.
An already very weak public health system is near collapse in these countries. Patients are being turned away, and people are literally dying in the streets.
And it's a struggle to keep infected patients quarantined. This video captures hospital workers trying to subdue a man who ran away from the Ebola ward. Even one case undetected can wreak havoc. A few weeks ago, a Nigerian diplomat with Ebola slipped out of his quarantine and fled to the global oil hub of Port Harcourt, where hundreds of workers from all over the world live. He was secretly treated by a local doctor in a hotel room. That doctor died of Ebola, but not before treating dozens of patients that could have infected others. Now, more than 200 people are being monitored for the virus, leaving all of Nigeria at risk.
This matter is big, not just for Americans, for everyone in the world. This is an unprecedented health threat, and if we don't stop it here, we're going to be dealing with it for years around the world.
As the world focuses on containing Ebola, there is hope that it can finally be stopped. Scientists are right now racing to develop a cure. The NIH is testing a new vaccine, while Japanese researchers say they've developed a method to detect Ebola in just 30 minutes. And the latest breakthrough, doctors in Nebraska have injected Dr. Rick Sacra with antibodies from his colleague Kent Brantley's blood, and he seems to be responding.
The best way to protect the U.S. is to stop the outbreak in West Africa.
What can be done to save the lives of people who already have Ebola?
We give them the best. There are some who are doing well, like I can call you Chroma. Yeah. There are some who overcome it, like this guy. How are you, my dear?
Hello.
Come near here. But
How are you?
Cross the water here.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Not bad.
You have been here for how long?
How many days?
1 week, 1 day today.
1 week, 1 day?
Yes.
And how do you feel today?
I'm okay. Jumping.
And when will you go home?
I want to go home today.
Today?
Yes.
What do they say? When can you go home?
And
When can you go home? When?
now.
And a joyful homecoming for Liberian Dr. Philip Ireland, who contracted Ebola after bravely treating so many in his native country.
You've survived Ebola?
Yep. I've been through hell okay, I've seen death, and I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and just to see the sun and to see the trees and to see my children, my wife, and just to be with them. Right now, I'm very grateful. I'm happy just to be alive.
His words echoing a fellow survivor, American Nancy Wrightball. But already, a strain of